Give us 10 minutes, the alien commander sneered across the void, or watch your world burn. Commander Vance looked at his trembling sensor operator, then back at the massive black dreadnought surrounding their orbital station. 100 human soldiers faced 10,000 enemy ships. The alien fleet expected quick terror, instant surrender, and immediate compliance. They believed our species lacked the genetic courage to fight against impossible odds. Vance did not plead for mercy, nor did he offer terms of peace. Instead, he reached slowly for the station broadcast controls, locked eyes with the enemy screen, took a deep breath, and quietly gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. Saying, "You asked for 10 minutes, but we are giving you a war you will never forget." Seconds later, the station power grid hummed with dangerous kinetic energy as primary reactors surged beyond safe operational limits. The alien flagship launched its first wave of plasma torpedoes, expecting zero resistance from the dying outpost. But humans do not break when cornered. We adapt, survive, and strike back with terrifying precision. Hidden automated defense turrets suddenly emerged from beneath dense asteroid rock, locking targets with brutal speed. Heavy armor-piercing rounds tore through the lead enemy transport, turning Pride into absolute chaos within moments. The space between both forces turned into a blinding storm of fire, metal, and exploding starlight as the human defenders held their ground without stepping back. Alien intelligence reports had categorized humanity as a weak, peaceful species, incapable of prolonged tactical combat. They never calculated our willingness to bleed for every single inch of territory we protect. Waves of armored shock troops flooded our outer corridors, expecting easy hallway clearings and rapid victory. Instead, they walked straight into carefully prepared killing zones designed by veterans who knew no fear. Narrow bulkheads became tight choke points where human rifles roared without pause. Armor shattered, alien shields collapsed, and for 3 grueling hours, not a single corridor fell into enemy hands, despite massive casualty numbers piling high on both sides of the smoking metal decks. The alien high commander watched his invasion timeline completely collapse in real time as human resistance only grew stronger. Every time his generals claimed a sector was clear, surviving soldiers emerged from maintenance shafts, firing scavenged weapons with deadly accuracy. Their strategic confidence dissolved into pure confusion. These humans were outnumbered 50-1, yet fought as if victory was guaranteed. When heavy plasma charges blew through the main command bridge doors, Vance did not attempt to retreat. He picked up his standard pulse rifle, grabbed 3 frag grenades from a fallen comrade, stood firm, looked forward, and charged directly into the incoming alien strike team with relentless determination echoing down the corridor. His brave counterattack pushed the invaders back past the secondary airlocks, buying critical time for the lower deck engineering crews below. Down in the primary engine room, lead technician Sarah worked through thick black smoke and toxic cooling leaks to override the main reactor safety protocols. The aliens believed they were fighting to capture a tactical space station, completely unaware that humans turn everything into a weapon when pushed to the absolute edge. "If they want this station," Sarah whispered, wiping sweat and blood from her eyes, They will have to take it in a million burning pieces across the solar system. She bypassed the primary core controls, initiating a manual overload countdown that would detonate the station's dark matter engine in exactly 5 minutes. The remaining 70 human defenders received the encrypted signal on their tactical headsets, knowing instantly what needed to be done next. Not one soldier dropped their weapon, ran for escape pods, or asked for emergency evacuation orders. They simply locked the blast doors, pulled their sidearms, and prepared to draw as many enemy ships into the blast radius as physically possible. The alien fleet commander sensed something was horribly wrong when the human firing rate suddenly doubled instead of fading away. The defensive grid flared with blinding crimson light as the station pulled power from every secondary subsystem to fuel its emergency gravity drive, creating a massive artificial gravity well that locked nearby enemy cruisers into fixed positions. The alien warships fired their thrusters at full reverse power, but the invisible magnetic grip held them tight against the station's outer hull. Confusion turned to outright panic across the alien fleet as bridge displays flashed critical warnings of an imminent core collapse. They had planned a swift 10-minute surrender, but now found themselves trapped in a 10-hour nightmare of their own creation. With 3 minutes remaining on the core detonation timer, a massive spatial rupture opened at the edge of the system, shaking local sensor grids with intense energy spikes. The primary alien flagship immediately turned its long-range scanners toward the unexpected anomaly, expecting to see additional reinforcement ships from their homeworld arriving to finish the assault. Instead, the dark expanse of deep space filled with hundreds of gleaming white warship hulls bearing the unmistakable emblem of the United Terran Navy. The main human fleet had finally dropped out of hyperspace, emerging directly behind the distracted alien invasion force, with heavy railguns fully charged and ready. The alien commander stared at his strategic display in absolute horror, as thousands of human long-range missiles locked onto his exposed engines. The tiny station had held out long enough for humanity's true military strength to arrive, turning a trap into a complete tactical encirclement. But inside the dying station, the reactor timer was still ticking rapidly down towards zero, leaving less than 90 seconds before the imminent dark matter explosion would consume everything within 50,000 kilometers. Terran Admiral Sterling immediately patched his signal into the station's broadcast channel, yelling for Vance and his surviving crew to override the self-destruct sequence before it was too late. Vance dragged himself to the main console, bloodied and exhausted, looking at the countdown timer showing 40 seconds remaining. The alien fleet began desperate surrender transmissions, begging the human navy for mercy as their engines remained trapped in the station's gravity field. Vance reached out his hand toward the override panel, hesitation clearing from his eyes as he realized the tactical sacrifice required to guarantee a total victory. He opened a fleet-wide channel and spoke his final words.
There's no better place to fall than atop the world.
Saying, Admiral, tell Earth that we held the line, and never let them forget what happened here today. Before the main fleet could respond, Vance slammed his hand down, not on the abort switch, but on the manual detonation trigger. A blinding flash of white energy consumed the station, collapsing space-time and vaporizing the entire alien invasion fleet in a single catastrophic instant. When the radiation cleared, space was completely silent, leaving only the victorious human armada floating among the drifting debris. The galaxy finally learned a terrifying truth that day. Humans will sacrifice everything to protect their home, and if you push them to the edge, they will drag you into the fires of extinction with them.